But
Still, like, we're always figured to be the help of the city.
no, they're actually not. The number of hotels I've been in for Westminster projects is actually not. No, I can't think of any that are helping the city actually.
So their neighborhood.
Is the neighborhood ones they want you to have it in some proximity to the neighborhood? So a lot of times like, so they want, you make it convenient for the neighborhood.
That's been.
But no, I really am not used to seeing it.
So we read the other day, somebody's.
I can't think of any that are held at like a city or something.
I think it's gonna be. He's gonna make. We go ahead.
Start at 5:30. Hi, welcome. My name is Ethan Lawrence.
Yeah, well, I do have somebody sitting right here.
Well, then I can't see.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Darn, you're a good looking man.
I can.
Darn it.
Sorry.
I know, what am I gonna do?
All right, we're gonna get started. Again, my name is Ethan Lawrence. I'm the project planner for this project, shepherding it through our process for the city of Westminster. The project is 7601 West 108th Avenue. The city is processing applications for annexation, rezoning, preliminary development plan, and a comp plan amendment for this application. Today is the project meeting, which happens after the first submittal of those documents. So we're very early in the process. It's the right time to get your input. So that's what we're here to do. The applicant team is going to make their presentation followed by a Q&A, and I'll be around to answer any questions related to our process. So with that, I'll hand it over to Eric.
Hey, everybody, Eric Bird, Director of Civil Engineering. We're right up the road in Westminster here, so familiar. Today we're going to be talking about the proposal for this project and the ownership group that's with us as well. They can answer questions as well. We're the engineering team helping. You can go to the next slide here, Adam. So real quick, just to highlight the location of the project. I'm sure everybody knows the location, but it's a vacant lot currently located on the northwest corner of 108th Ave. Oh,
Can I ask one quick question?
sure.
You know, there's another development that we've had some meetings on and I've missed them,
Okay.
but I think they're on the south side. I think it's a gas station and market and a parking lot, and that's not you, right?
No.
This is on the,
Yes,
this
this
is
is
north.
this is
This
the
is on
north.
the north side.
Correct.
That's
So
not,
this is
not by,
Brightmere
yeah,
complex.
it's not by the church over there, whatever it's called. Whatever it's called. Mosque,
Oh, you're talking about the corner of Wadsworth Parkway.
the one that's on the south side. This is on the north side. I got the map.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to clarify. I missed that meeting,
Okay,
but I'm here at this one.
yes,
So
we
now
are,
we're
we are not,
talking about
we are not
two-
affiliated with that
Two
meeting.
developments, one
Correct.
on the south and one on the north.
Yes.
Okay, I got it.
So this is located on the northwest corner of West
Okey-dokey.
108th Avenue, and Wadsworth Boulevard, or Old Wads Boulevard here. If you could flip to historic conditions. So currently, it is a vacant property. It has a for sale sign. It's had it for 2 years at this point out front, maybe even longer than that. Right next to it is some light commercial. There's like a swimming pool there, distillery, brewery. Gosh, I don't know what else is there these days, but nice little development. So this is the corner here that is being proposed. And let me just start by saying this project is proposing, as Nathan highlighted, to annex into the city currently is unincorporated Jefferson County. And it is also proposing to zone the property, which is required, not rezone because it's not yet in Westminster. So it'll be zoned per Westminster standards, as well as it will be part of the comp plan for light industrial use in this area. Yes, ma'am.
I had a quick question. I'm not gonna make a lot of comments. I have a lot of questions. However,
Okay, and then we will have questions.
Yeah, and
okay, I know you were gonna take comments at the end, but I actually have questions. First question, so this is on the north side.
Yes,
Is it actually on the west side of 108th and not on the east side of Wadsworth?
it is
Not
on
on
the
the
west
east
side.
side.
It is on the west side of.
It's on the west side. Okay, so this is different from the gas station of the other.
Correct. So here's Old Ones here.
Okay, I
Here's
get it.
108.
I get it. I get it. So it's on, and that's why there's a pool, because there's the countryside or something. There's actually a pool over there. I know that. I've lived here a long time.
There's a
but go on.
there is a swimming school that's located.
There's one, there's,
There's a,
Countryside.
I know, there's one that you can pay for.
Yep.
I want play where I can just go and swim, maybe for a little charge.
So moving on, so the proposal for this project actually is not proposing any future development at this time. However, it is setting up for development. So the proposal is to annex the property into Westminster and to provide a comp plan amendment or a comp plan designation that is consistent with the city's long-range comp plan, which is I believe it's light flex. Employment flex is what it is proposed, or is what the comp plan for 2040 currently proposes. Yes, ma'am.
Well, I would have saved these. You'd rather I save them till the end?
Yeah, to the end would be great if we can finish the presentation.
It's up to you, but it had to do with employment. How many people get employed?
We don't know. So
Well, you
again,
just said something about employment, didn't you?
the comp
Did I
plan
miss that?
designation is for employment flex.
Yeah,
So
what
we-
did that mean to you?
It's that we'll show at the end what the
Yeah, you
designation.
could wait till the end, some of your questions
Yes, I
might be
will.
answered.
Thank you. And you'll answer them. I just won't
If
be
you
allowed
have-
to give a comment, right?
So
Yes.
it's a little bit odd in the sense of this development group is not proposing to actually develop, but yet prepare this property for future development for the city of Westminster's comp plan and for their like zoning, what the zoning they're kind of, that it is appropriate for this area, consistent with the neighboring property. If we can go to the next one. So this kind of goes over what are allowable use, and is this the correct? Actually, I'm realizing now that employment flex is. Nah, it's
This is the old comp plan, but it's pretty similar.
okay, well, maybe we
Just
can
didn't
pull
change that.
up the new one, but just talking about usage and it's gonna be similar to what's next door to us. But as mentioned, we're not proposing a development with this property as much as preparing a property that could be sold in the future for development of this
What's
property.
the next door to you?
It is the swim school and
Okay, good.
distillery and I can't remember all of the shops that are in that location, but it's that shopping center there.
Okay, okay.
Embers, which is like, outdoor
Charcoal grill stuff.
grill. And I
Okay.
think there might be a brewery that's been in there with sleepers.
You're still.
Yeah, and I think there's a brewery and distillery, a couple other things there. So, really the proposal's kind of paperwork, for lack of better English, to prepare for future development. And right now, we don't have a proposal from this development group to development right now, and I believe the plan is to prepare this for development, to make it more marketable, to ultimately prepare it for a developer in the future.
I will clarify that any land uses added would be able to be likely administratively approved once this goes to the official development plan, which is the actual document that entitles the property to have something to be built. That would be administratively reviewed. So the sort of uses, sort of larger site planning moves that are captured in the preliminary development plan, that's going to city council. But again, once the actual project comes forward, if it is in compliance with all of those uses, then it'll likely be able to be administratively approved, so it won't go through another public hearing process. You'll get a mail notice, and if there's a lot of comments, then we might hold another neighborhood meeting, but that's sort of the extent of the outreach, just so that you're clear on the next steps, because it's a little different that we're not doing all of the applications at once.
Hopefully you get more what?
So what is it you're doing? Are you just putting water, running water to it, or you're getting electricity to it and then? people-
Not at this time. In the future, there will be. Right now, this is unincorporated Jeffco, so we're bringing the property into Westminster and then also getting all of the necessary comp plan and zoning in place that comes along with bringing a property into Westminster. So there's no proposal to bring.
There's no breaking ground at all.
That's correct, right now. So right now, it is truly, so right now, there is if you look at the Westminster map, there's a hole. Basically actually, it is just a rectangle at this rectangle here. And actually, like the Frightmare complex, same thing, is this all around is Westminster. And we are in a sea of Westminster and it is currently Jeffco. So this is the administrative process well, I guess it's not administrative, it's gonna be the hearing process to bring a piece of property into Westminster and properly designate.
Those government.
But just one clarification, if there was any attempt to significantly start from that zoning classification, that was required.
Correct, absolutely correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, so everything that's being proposed right now, and again, we're just early in the review, are uses that are associated with our employment flex, which, again, this is the old comp plan, but they're basically similar. a little bit more limited, actually. So your primary uses would be professional offices, R&D, labs, flex office, incubator space. And then there's some secondary uses as well. So it's a little, pretty similar to what basically is there now. Just more of that.
And the height would be the same.
Yeah, we would have, so that's a good question. We'll have, a max height that'll be stated on there. If I can pull up the PDP document.
Yeah, I can't recall exactly what.
But again, we're very cognizant to make it we're basically going to match the sort of form of what's been built, existing, so it all ties together. Because I know that height's a big concern, for your neighborhood screening of like rooftop units. I know that's come up. So those are gonna be things that are actually, I've commented to add to the PDP so that that'll have to be conformed with when the ODP or the official development plan finally comes in. But any comments like that are good to hear from you, what your concerns are on the project, because we can weave it in and we can talk about that in the entitlement docs.
Yeah, and I think the point of if somebody comes in to say that they sell, somebody comes in and tries to specify, change the comp plan amendment or rezone, that will trigger this process all over. So there would then be public hearings and a public process associated with that. And I believe they'll have to hold a neighborhood meeting as part of that, correct? If they were to rezone to a comp plan amendment.
Oh, yeah, if you're, well,
Let's just say yes, if we like sold it and then this developer was sliming, the next developer who did it, this.
yeah, it would go through.
It's trying to do
process
something that's
again,
not in line with
and
the
honestly,
first
if it was a comp plan change, it probably wouldn't be in support by our council. We just adopted a new comp plan, and this land use makes sense.
And the access and offsite and all of that would all be part of the ODP and not part of this reason.
That's a good question. So, again, if we could pull it up, it's just sort of, you'll deal with sort of access points. So that's being talked about now, as well as trail. We have a comment from, open space to do a trail connection on the north side of the site, for example. So yeah, it's sort of like a PDP is really just the sort of framework. And so there's nothing inside of the square. It's kind of how do you get in? Because we want to, we're checking a traffic study, utility study, all those things to make sure that our infrastructure, especially because we are annexing it in, that we can support it. Fire service, all those things are being analyzed. Thank you. So yeah, this is the sort of site plan, and we'll have, I think we'll be adding some arrows showing access points. A trail connection, I think, has been listed up here. So all of that, again, is just on the diagrammatic level. You have setbacks for building apartment that are in compliance with our design standards, as well as sort of height of building and land use. It's pretty much all that is covered, but it's a great question, the way that our system is set up under our planned unit development zoning. We have to kind of, PDP is that zoning, so we don't, it's not all code, like a straight use. It'll be like, each site has its own zoning that is defined by the PDP, so it's high level.
And one thing you did, we also have to analyze the drainage as well as part of that.
We've had a big retention pond.
Correct, and so there is a bypass for the release from that will be part of that, and we've looked at the site, and if whoever's gonna develop it is gonna have to design a bypass that provides no negative impact to that drainage, so that runs to the site of storage.
Big pile of dirt, put someone right now.
Yes, there is.
Next to a very small road, by the way, 108th is not a big road,
Yeah, and if you
but they're
look
gonna
here,
get to that track.
if you look here, there is dedication shown for the property.
You're gonna make the road bigger?
As part of the future development, yes, so you can see
Okay,
that,
good. We'll have a 4-lane road. That,
I don't know exactly. what the
great,
total is.
great.
I don't believe that this project will trigger a road widening.
Well, then it's
We'll have
gonna
to
be
check that
a
out.
massive
There
traffic
will
problem.
be dedication.
But we'll be
Okay, I don't
making
care.
future.
Why would I care? I only live in Green Knolls, which is right down 108th from where you're going.
And
But you will dedicate the right of way for
for
future.
future expansion, once
For
it meets
future what?
requirements, so we can
Roads, the
add
roads
lanes
of
or
future.
signals
The
unless
roads
it
of the
meets.
future.
Yeah.
Are you gonna live in Green Knolls very long?
Huh?
Do you live in Green Knolls?
Sure, 32 years,
Oh, I've lived there even longer than you.
I'm sure.
I bet. I'm old and I look old and I'm old. I'm very old.
Yeah.
I've
I'd say
lived there longer
they have
than
traffic
one other
study.
person. I've
Excuse
lived
me,
there
ma'am?
longer.
Ma'am,
Yes, I'm sorry.
um,
Go on.
a traffic study is going to be
Well, and this is what we're gonna get in the next public hearing. It's what I'm hearing. All this will come out in another hearing that you're gonna have about all that crap.
Yeah, once you have, if you have questions kind of about what the, like, once we get through our whole process, then once we go to planning commission and then to council, that'll be a fully baked, set of plans then. So we'll have our traffic study complete, our utility study, et cetera. I don't know if there were any major comments at the first round, but again, we're still in process. I mean, it's a relatively small project.
That doesn't sound like it.
But we'll be, again,
How big a building
dedicating
is
right
it?
away for like future needs.
So there's no building.
There's no building at all. It is, what is it, an online, how?
No, this is just the process to bring this piece of property into Westminster at this point.
Oh, it belongs to Broomfield?
It's currently unincorporated Jefferson County.
Ah, okay, this I did not understand.
Yes.
Thank you for telling me that.
Any other questions?
Any kind of comments about, thinking ahead? I know, again, it's hard because of where we're at in the process, and you don't have something to actually see and look at. But are there any sort of concerns that you have, with architecture? I've heard height.
Hold it,
you know,
there's no
sort of-
building. What kind of architecture would we have?
Well,
Or height?
as I've already stated, we'll be regulating through the PDP what the height of the building is, setback.
There is gonna be a building eventually.
This is entitling it so that someday.
So
yes,
when
there
it's,
could be a
once,
building.
once you get annexed
Mhm.
and it becomes part of Westminster from Jefferson County, you will be building a building.
I'm
Is
not
it-
building anything.
Somebody's building a building, is that what I'm hearing? And it's gonna have a height. I'm sorry,
And what's your question?
Yeah, is there
is there gonna be a building there?
that's
some
the
point in time.
intent of.
And you're not building it, but somebody is. Who's that person?
The owner.
Who is that person that's gonna be building the building?
That's to be determined.
I can understand that. I've been in the business world. Go on.
So yeah, again, just sort of any concerns.
So one concern will be, and this goes back a ways, is when that commercial center was developed, quite some time ago, the way the roof lines were put in, they were fairly high. They probably didn't need to be that high.
Okay.
So I guess I would suggest that using the existing roof lines as a guide would not be particularly good. I think if you talk to staff in the city, you'll hear that
Yeah, I
feedback.
know Stephanie Ashman, I think has.
Let me just throw in some.
About.
I think you're gonna hear from the neighbors, particularly
Yeah.
along that block. I'm not in that
Yeah,
block.
can I throw in?
Can you let him finish first?
The height, is gonna be an issue of sensitivity.
So
Yes.
just the heights for like, so I know that there were comments previously about RTUs or the sort of air conditioners, things like that being seen.
Yeah,
So,
it
We have
wasn't
kind of
just that, it was also
okay,
the way the roof structure is done on that existing development could have been done differently. I don't, flat roof or whatever, it got higher than it needed to be.
so the overall height is sort of
Yeah.
higher.
May I ask a question?
Can I throw
For
in
you.
something or you wanna wait till the end?
What's that?
She wants to-
Could I throw?
Oh, I'm sorry, she was asking.
I'm part of the project. So would you prefer a flat roof as opposed to the pitch roof? Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, we haven't heard.
Well, I think it's an overall height issue for the houses, and I don't wanna speak out of school, so I'm not.
No, I have no vested interest one way or the other, but I'm just trying to understand.
Yeah.
If it was the roof that wasn't really creating any usable space, which is the pitch roof.
Well, no, I think it was an issue of how high it ended up being and how it blocked those homes along there.
Okay.
But there's no building right now, so we can't worry
And
about that.
I'm kind of hearing this pretty active neighborhood, so I'm thinking once we get.
No, that's not very active. Look how many
Then
people
we
are
can do
there.
another one of these. Yeah, that sounds good. You'll-
You got us by
we'll have to
balls.
react to, 'cause
But
again,
come on.
the way our process works, you're not required to bring it all to
Right.
in accordance. But I'll just talk to our planning
No,
manager.
it's not
Definitely do
really
another neighborhood meeting, we can actually.
Well, I've lived there that
elevation,
long.
Things like that, see if something to look at and respond
I think
to.
if you talk to some
Like
staff, you'll
safety.
hear the history of what
Yeah.
happened there.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
no,
that-
I
to
appreciate
my
it.
knowledge, that was an evolutionary process. There was some concerns. What they were trying to do is they were trying to hide the HVAC units on the roof. Originally, the original developer builder wanted flat roofs,
Uh-huh.
okay? And then the city, to my knowledge, I think,
Yeah, that's
insisted,
understanding.
based on input from the neighborhood, to build those pitched roofs to hide the
You didn't want to
HVAC.
use within the roof.
And I can tell you as a builder,
Yeah.
that added a tremendous amount of additional cost. And it also created cubic feet of airspace to be heated and cooled that was totally unnecessary.
Where
So-
the air conditioners could have been shielded in a different manner that would still prevent it from being.
Yeah, I think it was like,
Thank
you know, it's like
That was
same
an
thing's gonna happen after we're trying to like, it's never as efficient when we retrofit it. So overall, keeping the building heights low, it's still shielding.
Yeah.
But you
Yeah, like
know,
parapet
can I
walls.
say my comment now, or you still want to wait till? the-
Sure, go ahead.
Sure, fine.
My comment is you have people here that live on the west side of Green Knolls. They actually like to watch planes come in, you know, they have open space over there. They can actually see a lot, mountains and everything. And so you have people here that live on that side. So the height of your roof might make a difference to some of those people who actually live there.
Sure, absolutely.
And it's not me. I don't live there. I look the other direction.
Yeah.
I can still watch planes, but I don't live where I would actually look at your development. I live in a different part of Green Knolls.
Okay.
I just want to throw that out.
Thank you.
You know, I'm not here to talk for people that are here that aren't talking. Am I?
Any other
Go
feedback
on.
or comments or thoughts? Yes, sir.
Who's financing the infrastructure?
The infrastructure is not, so the infrastructure is not being built with this project. This is an annexation.
Doesn't the project need sewer and water?
Not yet. So this is bringing
We're
the,
building, yeah.
there's no buildings. There's no
Is that on
buildings.
the back of the taxpayers, or is that on the back of the developer?
Oh, the future developer that purchases this piece of property once it's brought into Westminster.
So nobody's really purchased it yet.
So this group owns the property right now, and it is a more marketable piece of property, as you've probably seen with the sign, being in
Sure.
Westminster versus being in unincorporated Jefferson County. which
I
is-
didn't know that. I didn't know it made much
Jefferson
difference.
County than they are in
So Jefferson
Westminster.
County doesn't want to do to being fully surrounded by.
Well, that's, the thing is, like I'm telling you, taxes are higher in Westminster and will be if the fire thing passes. They'll be almost 10% plus the property taxes. So don't use that as a selling point.
Yeah,
I mean, these are the guys who are trying to sell it, so I don't know.
Well, don't use that as a selling point.
yeah, I think so, but I just thank you for your comment. That was a very bright comment,
Property is.
very bright.
This is all that hearing is for it.
Well, but to annex it, you're gonna have to have infrastructure done.
Not first, you annex first and then.
Yes, the plan here is to annex, do a PDP, and then, and ultimately set the comp plan designation and zoning, and then ultimately that property will then be in Westminster, and then at some future point, there will be development. However, this group is not intending to develop the property, so the infrastructure you're citing, the water, sewer, roads, drainage, all of that will be coming in the future. Right now, we're designing it, right now, we're looking into it from a high level to make sure that in the future, we're not handcuffing this property in a way that can't be developed.
Well, at this point, well,
Thank you.
what would change it from being flex use to residential, whatever, 3.5 or 5, and you putting up custom built homes that are 4 stories and blocking everybody's view?
Well, that would be in direct contrast to the comp plan, which just got passed, so they would have to go through public hearing.
But you're asking for a comp plan amendment.
It's really just a technicality.
There's no comp plan.
We have sort of,
City of Westminster.
yeah, so small holes like this are shown
Where's
on our
that?
comp plan as having a comp
Where's
plan
our name?
designation.
Here.
Probably the most important thing to address your comment or your question or comment is this property is actually in the navigational easement for Jefferson Airport. Under no circumstances will the federal government allow or the local government allow residential uses to be built along underneath that flight.
Well, now that you brought that forward, what about all the concern most recently about the airport and the lead and the noise? You know, how does that all play into this?
Well, that's not associated with the development of this property. I'm not with the airport organization.
I'm just asking, how does that all play in with this development? Are you gonna disclose that to the potential people who build here?
Disclose what, sir?
The problems with the airport, correct?
Okay, Nate, are there problems with the airport that I should be aware of that would impact this development?
I mean, like you said,
That's a meeting.
like you said, there's sort of height requirements that you can't.
No, it's not just height, that's
Residential,
airplanes.
can't put a
They want to
tower
bring
here.
in commercial airplanes.
Right.
It's the amount of traffic coming into that what used to be just a little bitty airport. There's a lot of problems with that airport, not just in Green Knolls, all over Jefferson County. It's actually worse in other places in Jefferson County than in Green Knolls.
Well, I mean, I'll say our development doesn't.
I am on the green belt for the crash zone of that particular airport,
So.
and I have a
So
nice
they
view
just want
because of it,
necessary, I mean.
but it's a crash
Future
zone.
developer, I suspect, will have to make sure.
Just to clarify that under the zoning you are gonna get once you get the annexation is if residential will not be allowed.
That is correct.
Yeah,
That's not to say it can't be changed, just like they're trying to get it changed now. Zoning is.
Again, we're not changing it, it doesn't.
Let me finish speaking to this gentleman. Zoning is not etched in stone. It can be changed at any time. All somebody has to do is come forward, put up the money and ask for a rezoning.
but it's misleading though. So our comp plan shows this as flex employment. That is what we are amending it in that when we annex, we have to kind of color that in. So it's already been designated in anticipation of annexation because it's kind of a whole. It's correct that you could amend our comp plan. That's a much bigger process. And we haven't done any amendments since we've adopted our new comp plan. And the intent is that it's done rarely and for good reason with a lot of impacts to, of analysis to impacts to traffic and our water supply is really critical.
But in your new.
So like going to residential would have a much larger.
Yeah,
impact
in
on water.
your new comp plan, it does not show this as residential.
Correct. They will show that. Here's the new comp plan, so it's being shown as
Yeah.
employment.
And the license for like, I think to make it plain, like it would be as hard to put a grocery store in the middle of a neighborhood,
Well,
residential neighborhood, as it would be to put housing here in a commercial area. So that's it, six would be.
It's done in a very thoughtful
Same
way. And we don't just sort
Yeah.
of, no, if someone asks for residential, we're not just gonna put it there. It wouldn't make sense. Unless they're all give it its commercial liability.
Thank you.
I mean, that's our tax base right there. So this is better to
You're working on like Hofstra. I'm very familiar with that.
fire and police stuff and services.
There, any other, thank you guys. Yeah, thank you so much.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Commercial.
Any other questions?
Down there, is that what that plan was?
Where is it?
It's not what I saw.
All right, if there are no other questions, I'll go ahead and close the meeting.
For this, it says he's working on some kind of development.
That has
No.
nothing to do
Yeah.
with.
But I didn't ask for questions.
It's not residential. It's not residential.
I know what you're doing.
But I do understand, I do dismiss.
Probably going to be the only two people left here, the ones that actually.
I mean, do you have any
All of these people are developers.
Not really.
We're not as easy as you think.
I'm gonna close the meeting and stop the recording.
I mean,
I keep asking you if you have questions and you're
Well, we're
talking to
trying-
people in the audience, which is not very professional. We're doing a presentation. If you
Oh
want
my
to ask,
gosh.
Well, then maybe go upstairs, maybe-
then we can get to it.
You can't have long hair and be professional.
Questions, if they're part of.
I've asked 3 times.
If they're part of the development, they need to be, up.
What are your questions?
they need to go up there so that we can ask them,
Peter.
so that it can be on the, being on.
About the development proposal, what are your questions?
Oh, okay, yeah, yes, sir.
Well, he's not the one that was trying to double talk us, it was you two.
But we're not gonna get anything from them. We've already established that. It's secret. What they're doing is secret.
Yes.
Go on.
It's not.
Well, we're finished with the presentation and unless there's any questions, I think we're gonna.
I have none. I'm leaving. I just like everybody
Any
else.
questions, sir?
Anybody that lives in the development, then, you know, we got everything we need from you guys.
Great. Do you have
Thank you.
any questions, sir?
I just want to know who's getting paid off for this project for the data.
Gotta get to know you.
Who's getting paid off? Can you kind of like dig into that and explain that? What you're,
Well, what's that?
Who's getting paid off for what? We're going through a public process. There are 4 touch points for the public to provide input.
Here's one.
This is the first, and we're
I'm
here.
very familiar with it, as you very well know,
Okay,
and everything I've ever seen this city do gets rubber stamped. These people come in and ask for exemptions, exceptions, special favors, so obviously somebody's getting paid off here.
Well, no,
Is it
no
you?
exceptions have been
Is it
identified
Mr.
at this stage in the
Who is it?
development.
Is it you or is it Lizzie Kimball or John
If I
McConnell?
was getting paid off, I probably wouldn't be here, because I'd be. on
Where
the
would
beach
you be? Somewhere else where they paid you off, right?
somewhere. Sure.
I'm sorry.
Are there any more serious questions?
Those
And
are
if-
serious.
Yeah, if you have if you
Yeah,
have
you
a
laugh.
follow-up on that, then you can write me an email and I'll be
No,
happy
no,
to.
Well, you want to be on email with me?
That sounds great. I appreciate it.
You want to be on email with any of you? I'll give it to you.
All right, thank you all.
Okay. I can see that that's gonna happen.